such a good day. Awesome job, awesome job. All right, everybody. Love is my religion. Let's stand up and dance and get our hands together. Here we go. Woo! Ready? Love is my religion. 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 I'll take you to the temple tonight. All my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Through the books and Bibles of time. Love is my religion. 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 I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is the calling, have you heard? Bring all those lovers to the fold. 'Cause no one's gonna lose their soul. Oh, love is my religion. 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 Where you can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. I don't condemn, I don't convert. Well, this is the calling, have you heard? Oh yeah. Bring all the lovers to the fold. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 'Cause no one's gonna lose their soul. Whoa. Love is my religion. 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 Hey, you can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Love is my religion. 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 All right, thank you so much. So wonderful to have you all today. We're going to move into the Congo song again with Lisa Plumley, and this is This Train. I want to thank Lisa for coming today. She came as a great favor to me as support, and it's awesome to have her here.
What kind of train are we gonna board?
This train. This train. Come on, Lisa.
I said this train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train will not knock. This train is bound for glory. This train is right to glory. This train is bound for glory. This train If you are comfortable still standing in your aerobic class.
Get back up.
This is our community song, Surely the Presence.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Surely the presence of the One is here in this place because you are in this place, and we are all part of the one universal spirit energy that is everywhere present. God is good all the time. And we are blessed to be together on this beautiful day. And as you hold the hand of the person next to you, feel that unity, that presence together that you share. 2 hearts, 100 hearts, 200 hearts, all beating as one. And open your heart to that presence of love that you have in your heart for yourself, for friends and family, those who have passed. And as you extend that love out to everyone here in this congregation, we are all blessed. You are a blessing, for you are God. And so it is. Thank you all for coming today. You may be seated. I'm Michelle Gillette. I'm a prayer chaplain, and I'm your facilitator for today. We do appreciate you all for being here. I know there's still some folks coming in. We'll have a full house. I'd like to have us welcome the streamers first. Let's say hello. And we record all of our services. They're all available on YouTube. And also you can listen to the talks on the SoundCloud app if you have that. I'd like to welcome anyone who is celebrating with us for the first time. If you are, could you please raise your hand? Oh, wonderful. Keep them up. Please keep your hands up. Keep them up, please. The ushers are going to come forward, and they have a flower for you, and they also have a welcome packet. And you can take the welcome packet into, there's a card on the front of it. You can fill that out, bring it to the Spiritual Resource Center in the bookstore. And speaking of the bookstore, don't forget this. The flower gives you 10% off in the bookstore. So there's lots of great things. We've received a lot of our things for the holidays now, and plus all of the books. So please take advantage of that. And please know that your presence here enriches us, and we bless you, and we thank you so much for coming today. We welcome all paths to God, and your joining us here today enriches us. And we're still giving out those packets and flowers. Lots of great new people. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope you can join us again in the future. Okay, so now let us join together and say our mission statement. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision statement, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. And so it is. Michael Mirdad is doing the service today, and he is also holding 2 workshops this week. Right after service at noon, he'll be conducting Manifesting Love and Abundance here in the sanctuary. Tuesday night at 7, he'll be back and doing an evening of miracles here in the sanctuary. He's also offering private sessions through Thursday. Is Judy here in the audience right now? Judy, you can meet with her if you want to schedule an individual session. We have 3 great classes coming up next Sunday, November 11th. Reverend Annie Houghton. Annie, where are you? I thought I saw her here earlier. I don't see her here now. Okay, she is the person who manages our pastoral care outreach, and she is she is doing an orientation for those who are interested in joining that pastoral care team. So please come and get more information if you'd like to be part of that. Carol Stringham will be returning to lead the 5 love languages. And Reverend Ogan will be holding part 1 of Unity Basics. If you are interested in being a member of this congregation, you need to take both sessions of that class. It's one of the requirements for membership. And then, before Thanksgiving Eve, we're having our open mic and potluck. It's a lot of fun. We have the dinner in here. It's a great way to open up Thanksgiving, open up your hearts to gratitude and to share as a community. Keith Bickford, he's going to be doing the previews, not an audition, but he just needs to have everything kind of organized and make sure we know what's going on that night of the open mic. So speak with him if you want to participate in the open mic, and sign up to bring a dish for the potluck. Now this is the time in our service where we greet one another. I invite you to say, Namaste. I see you. I see your magnificence. I see your beauty. I see the divine in you. Namaste.
1, 2, 3.
I am very happy to introduce an amazingly dear friend of mine, a fantastic support for me today, and the music director who taught me how to be a music director. This is Michael Vaughn. Give it up for him, please.
What's up? What are you looking for? Wait, the what?
His first year when I was here, I was like, what would he do? What would Mike do?
Not allowed.
So this song is River of Love.
Find him. Thanks.
I see my wall of gray where the dark is on. I need a light, and love's the way I'll I see a wall of blue, I know the faith I'll need in loving you inside a storm of fear.
If we don't remember, then love alone lights our soul. If we don't remember, then love alone brings us home. On the river of love, I'll reach to you. On the river of sorrow, I'll know your fears. On the river of rain, I'll dry your tears. And on the river of life, I'll have you near. On the river of love. On the river of love.
On the road where I stood so long ago, when I knew your soul, I'm holding on, but faith, sometimes it comes and goes, and cannot touch without the need to hold. Will I remember love when I let you go?
Remember, then love alone lights our soul. If we don't remember, then love alone brings us home. On the river of love, I'll reach to you. On the river of sorrow, I'll know your fears. On the river of rain, I'll dry your tears. And on the river of life, I'll have you near. On the river of love, I'll reach to you. On the river of sorrow, I'll know your fears. On the river of rain, I'll dry your tears. And on the river of life, I'll have you near. On the river of love. On the river of love. On the river of
Thank you, Michael Vaughn.
You want this shot?
I'm delighted to welcome Michael Mirdad to our service today. Michael is a world-renowned spiritual teacher, healer, and author. We have his books available and his CDs and DVDs in the bookstore. Best-selling books including You're Not Going Crazy, You're Just Waking Up, Creating Fulfilling Relationships, The Heart of a Course in Miracles, a book of love and forgiveness. He's the spiritual leader of Unity Sedona in Arizona, now for over 7 years. For over 35 years, Michael has transformed the lives of thousands of clients and facilitated thousands of classes, lectures, workshops throughout the world on mastery, spirituality, relationships, and healing, and is rightly noted by many authors as a teacher's teacher and a healer's healer, and we love him here at Unity on the River, so please help me welcome Michael Mirdad.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. Great to be back. Someone came back a few minutes ago, backstage, and asked if I would talk specifically about a particular topic. So I think that's where we're going today. Yeah. So it's an interesting time, obviously, that we're living in. And some people say, well, that's probably been said throughout history. But no, it hasn't. It hasn't always been interesting. Sometimes things are kind of status quo and so on, but it's an interesting time. And as a spiritual teacher, especially one that really, my focus is all about Christ consciousness. And it's always been, thank God. You know, I've dug that, and lifetimes of that. I mean, I just understand that getting back to God is the essential, just a direct connection with God. And it doesn't mean don't listen to a teacher, don't read a book, it just, all of it needs to get us closer to God. Everything else is just kind of a waste of time, really. And mystics have tried to explain that and so on. And you know, but not everybody wants to listen to the mystics of past because they were so serious about their work that it seems like, well, they're so serious, they're so connected, it seems distanced from us, the average person. But the time we live in, all veils are falling apart. But when veils fall apart, people freak out at first. Look at the way bugs react when you pull the rock off of their home. You know, like, they'll just freak. So that's what happens when people start to look at their addictions. It's like, oh, I didn't want to look at that. Or, you know, hey, let's look at your relationship. Oh, no. You know, everybody, you know, it's like when the lights come up at the end of an evening in a bar. Everybody, oh, my God. I was about to go home with you, you know, like, what was I thinking? You know, and the same happens with spirituality. Oh, you know, have you read that? You got to read this book. This is really, and then you find out, you know, the author's a nutcase like everybody else on the planet. They have problems, you know. One minute you're going, this person, such peace and tranquility. This book is really moving me. And then you see some website and they're on there going, I hate the politicians of today, you know, and they're like totally different. One minute, peace, love, you know, peace, love, Bobby Sherman, you know, and the next minute, and then we used to say that in high school, I don't know why, peace, love, and Bobby Sherman, you know, but anyway, and yet the teachers in their day-to-day lives, you find out they do freakouts, you know, on the internet because somebody won an election, somebody lost it, and everybody's nuts, back to hatred. And I watch this and I just think, please take me home. Just country roads, take me home, you know, beam me up or something, because this place is just the asylum of the universe. You know, Earth. You know, and Jesus and the apostles, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Planet Earth. You know. You know, so it's just such a strange place. And there's people that isolate, no, we're especially strange. We're especially depressed. Being on earth is depressing. It's because we're not in Kansas anymore. Dorothy, you know, Toto, there's a problem. And those who get an idea that there's a problem either crash, take their own lives, go into depression. I don't blame them at all. This place is really messed up. And then the others, another group, they just choose to wake up. The Buddhas and so forth, that just go, wait, there's something wrong with this picture. And I think it's amazing. But to see that there's something wrong and still survive, that's really unique. Because it's so easy to want to dissociate from such a messed up place. It's so easy to just want to drift off and dissociate. You're in a relationship, but you're drifted, you know, and people are in relationships that are not really into. They go to jobs, and everybody becomes automatons, you know. It's just like just barely making it through. They have to have the drink, and we wonder, you know, addictions, why they're so rampant. Because the world is, like A Course in Miracles says, because of the pain that kind of cries out from this world that we're creating but do not want. So even though this is happening, this world is being created, there's a part of us that gets it and doesn't like this world. And that's called conflict. So we have anxiety disorders, but shh, don't talk about it, just take this. And then you take that, you know, and look what the stuff does to you. May cause blindness and arms to pop off. You know, it's like, they have these little things, ads at the end of it, you know, and they show people looking happy to distract you. I now take this, I'm happier, you know, and then they have these comments, you know, wow, you know, and people still do it because we live in this strange asylum. And God, on the other hand, is holding this perfect vision of us. The same as chaplains are supposed to hold a vision and parents are supposed to hold a vision that despite the way things look, somehow everything's okay. Really? Have you looked lately? Seriously? I used to be able to believe that, but this is especially messed up this time. God unfazed. You are and remain as I created you. Perfect light. When we say that we're great as God created us, we don't mean, some people will go, yes, you know, I just love you as you are. We don't mean that kind of placating, I'm going to be patient with you even though you're messed up and I'm going to love you anyway. That's a human interpretation. God doesn't actually see all the stuff that we try to love each other for. I'm going to love you even though you're ill. God sees no illness. I'm going to love you even though you're angry, sad. God doesn't even see any of that. In us, there is a light that is unmoved by any of it. There is a perfect light of God centered in our being. It has no color, no gender, no age. It's incapable of anything that humans themselves experience. Now, we can go, that sounds really beautiful. It is beautiful, but people are so identified with their interpretations of themselves, it's quite distracting, but quite inconvenient for people to be asked to let go of their interpretations of themselves. You can say, you know, Lord, I get it. I have this dysfunction. I would like you to take it from me. What we don't know is unconsciously, subconsciously, we have this list of conditions. Take this from me, but make sure it fits within this. And that could be take this addiction, but don't take my friends. But your friends are all addicts and they keep giving you your addiction. No, don't, you know, find another way. Don't let me, and don't let this happen. And help my relationship, but make sure they don't leave. I don't want to be alone. There's all these fear-based projections that we put out there, and God's like, wow, you know, you guys are just strange. You're asking for help, and you counter it with your own answers and limitations. So how much help do you really want? So in a sense, at first God might have been, how can I help? And people say, God, the people of Israel, they used to commune with God. I mean, Melchizedek or Abraham, look at these communications they had. What happened? Well, here's what happened. By the time somebody asks for something, they already have a list of reasons to not have it, so God doesn't even have to listen anymore. I'm not saying literally. God just sits back and says, well, I'll just wait till you people make up your mind, because you want and then you don't want. It's about let thine eye be single. When you really know who you are and what you're looking for, fine, let me know. But I'll wait for you to get over your bipolar behaviors. You go up and you go down and you're all around. Just, what do you want? Well, I want this, but I want the encounter. We're moving into an auspicious time of the year, the end of the year. And it's symbolic of endings. Now is a really good time to start evaluating your life. So we come upon, and I think it's so amazing that mankind happens to have created things the way they are right now, you know, in terms of the holidays. So you come upon Halloween. Now is the time to look at the ghosts in the closet that you have. All of your ghost skeletons in the closet, the ghosts, all the creepy things under the bed and wherever else you may have them, in the head, obviously. Find all the creepy things. Let all the ghouls and goblins out. Stop dating them, by the way, but let all the ghouls and goblins out. Why? Because you're going to move into Thanksgiving. But don't move into Thanksgiving and not own the things that you're not so grateful for, the things that are skeletons in the closet, all the ghosts. Get all the ghouls and goblins. Come on, bring them out. No, we got to be careful. Look at Halloween. It's all the, you know, all the freaky outfits and all that. That's not a holiday, it's us. It's a mirror of ourselves. There's a scary outfit, there's a creepy this, and they're all parts of ourselves. There's nothing outside of us. Everything is a reflection. It's a hologram of our inner self. And so, okay, got it. We go out on Halloween. Well, wow, that's not me. No way. It's all us. They all reflect parts of us. Scary outfits could represent our fears, and intimidating outfits could represent old father issues or whatever. There's all these things, and they're magnified. But this whole world magnifies things. That's what it does. It magnifies. And people say, I don't like this happening or that happening. It's really kind of a bummer, because the way the ego has veiled our eyes, the way it has obscured our ability to see, keeps people from waking up. But if we could really see, there's an entirely different experience waiting. And people would start taking more responsibility. They would, not just because the heavy burden of responsibility, that's one level that people are intimidated at, but I'm talking about really getting it and going, okay, wait, this whole thing is a hologram. And if I asked you folks right here, is there an issue that you're struggling with that, you work on it, it still keeps appearing? Or have you had anything happen this year that surprised you? It showed up, you didn't know, that you still had that much fear, anger, whatever it is. Probably the last election would have, freaked out some people to look at how much they still had stuff to react to. Don't be afraid of that, and don't blame politicians. It brought your stuff up. That's a good thing to be grateful for. No, people don't usually say that. I got to send a card to people who trigger me. It is Christmas after all. That's not usually the way people are processing. They look at, they scratch names, They're not getting a card this year. You should send them two, But at the same time, this world is a hologram, but it's not just a hologram, it's a magnified hologram. Which means the stuff that you're frustrated with, you're still dealing with, that person showed up and, oh my God, they triggered me. I can't believe how much I reacted to the election. I can't believe how much I react to this post that went online or whatever it happens to be. You get upset, but the truth is, you should be a little shocked, and you should be a little dismayed, only in the sense that you catch on and go, oh, that was a good one. Wow, that caught me off guard. That's all. Just own it. Sit back and go, wow, that snuck up on me. Good one, okay? But you can say, and I can't believe that I reacted that much to that thing. But the thing is, it was a huge issue. This was so-and-so coming back into my life, and I never wanted to see them again. But the good news is that every one of these triggers that still gets you is a magnifying glass. They're not actually as profoundly huge of an issue as you think they are. You can have one little speck, and quantum science has proven this. One little speck of an issue, when light is beamed through it on a screen, still looks huge. One little frame of film, when you shoot light through a projector onto the screen, still fills the screen. And what happens is we look at the screen of life and go, oh my God, this issue of mine. Spirit's going, oh man, you almost got it. It was only this big, honey. It was only this big. And you allowed the look of it, the appearance, which is why mystics and masters throughout time on every continent have said, stop believing what your eyes tell you. Well, I have to. There it is. And yet, all it is a psychosis. All of us. It's a psychosis. You think you're seeing something that's not even there. First of all, it's a screen. No, it's not. It's real. It's three-dimensional. Just because it's three-dimensional doesn't mean it's not a screen. It's a three-dimensional screen. And it's projecting out for you to see these little issues that aren't really big. You're much bigger than them. No, I'm this big and the screen is that big. You're judging things by the illusion that they project to you. Poor thing. And then you die and you get to the other side and you go, oh, you're kidding me. I should have got that. And then you're like, okay, send me back in. Seriously, send me back in. You could give me the same parents and everything. And that one major jerk, I'm going to marry them. I'm going to marry them. I'm going in, I'm ready to work on all my issues, you know? And then you start going in, you're like, I'm totally ready, you know, totally ready, head first, you know? And you're going into this, you're going in, you're supposed to be going in, crowning, head first. And then, as it's happening, they start going, by the way, you won't remember any of this. Flip, feet first on the pelvis. No, I'm not going. They're like, we got to get the baby reversed. I'm not going. No, you didn't tell me that I'm going to forget. Amnesia. And then we come in and just, you know, crying, upset, scared, and oh, poor thing. But that's this world. Because it's an illusion. It really doesn't have power. And I know that some of the projections are they're just terrible in this dimension. They're terrible. The things we say, the things we do to each other are absolutely ludicrous. However, they actually don't have power over us. It's still a screen. You're allowed to sit in the theater screaming, you're allowed. You're allowed to be terrified. You're allowed to shake. You're allowed to, oh my God, you know, and have all those reactions in the theater. You're allowed to, oh, look at love scenes and, oh, I wish that were me. You're allowed to respond is our free will. But it's still a screen. The person on the screen doesn't hold your heart like you think they do. The person on the screen doesn't have power to actually creep up on you and hurt you the way you think. The response is just an illusion. So the mystics are saying, you got to learn to see this for what it really is. So throughout history, people have tried to see it. Some, you know, mystics, they worked on it and they saw it, and some had epiphanies and so on and so on. Males, females throughout history and all continents. However, there's also a person, Jesus, said, I completely woke up. I didn't wake up just regionally, racially, nationally. I woke up universally. I am God now. I'm one with God. What once was done through mythologies, there once was this God and he came from Olympus, and what was once a mythology, he actually came in and lived it. He completely woke up. And he says, and I'm a part of you and you're a part of me, which means if I woke up, part of you woke up. So now, instead of your ego only projecting through slides, fear-based stuff, ego-based stuff, you know, separation from God and from each other, onto the screen and letting it manifest in ways that terrify you, what I'm going to do is let you know there's also now a slide inside called Christ consciousness. Start letting your consciousness light shoot through that slide onto the screen, and it'll change your life. Christians call it accepting Jesus as their Savior, but it becomes just lip service rather than consciousness. It's got to become a consciousness. So, you know, this is essentially, Jesus is the embodiment not just of a consciousness of awakening. He's also the embodiment of what we call the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the Divine Mother. So one of the things that Jesus demonstrates, and as we're moving into the holidays, going towards Christmas, that's the birthing of Christ. It's time for you and I to birth the Christ again. Or is it just another Christmas on another year in another lifetime, and we'll just keep doing this forever? Don't lose the significance of this. You can birth the Christ any second of any day, but definitely as a personal ritual. Do not be sleeping when we go through this time. Let this holiday season, get out all the ghosts and goblins now. Talk it out. Do your inventory. All the freaky stuff, all the shames, all the yucky pieces, and the addictions, even the hatreds and angers. Get it. Put it on paper. There are some things I don't want to think about or know. You already do. You just don't want to see it. But that doesn't make it go away. Get it out. Get it out. And we think we've been programmed to believe that those things are so scary we should hide them. And the ego's going, yes, because if you hide them, they're just tapes and films inside of our consciousness that on a convenient moment the ego will flash up onto the screen, put a light through it, and boom, oh, there's that. And then we react to it. When you react to it, it becomes real to you. And then you better hide it again. And so we live in this constant cycling of fear. And all of us, the real us, the spirit in us, and heaven itself is waiting for somebody to do it differently and say, hold it, wait. Despite what I think I see, I'm ready to see things through God's eyes. I'm ready to experience and live through God's eyes. And how do you do that? Oh, you got to make sure you sit down and do X amount of hours of meditation per day, Om Mani Padme and Boom Shakalaka and so on, on one foot, eyes to the center of the head. And on the other side, they're like, wow, and Jesus is like, and God's like, I know, just let her. I'm not going to do that again. I know. Give it time. I think sometimes the apostles on the, picture the apostles on the other side just going, we got it. We devoted to this thing. You guys, too bad. And, you just imagine them making faces on the other side. And then Jesus, for jokes, would part the veil, open the veil between two worlds, just as the apostles are on the other side, and then they got to look all serious. Don't do that. Jesus, what's wrong with you? So Halloween, get all the stuff out. Get all the stuff out, because it's not actually like we were told. Confession. Confess your sins. Okay, dear Father who has more sins than I would like to confess my sinfulness. And everybody keeps all these secrets. Just stop. That's not God. There's no person that's better than you that you let them out to. Everybody's got stuff. But not everybody does this and says, here I am. This great statement, Yogananda, just stand there and open it up and say, here I am. And expose it all, like here I am. And when you do, the light shines on it. When light shines, there's just no darkness. The light doesn't actually you don't start sizzling like in a sci-fi movie. Here I am, God, and I'm melting. It doesn't happen like that. You just go boom, and all of a sudden there's no darkness. I was hiding these naughty thoughts. Oh, where'd they go? It really can be effortless. But we've been designed to be afraid of light more than darkness. Halloween, the creepy things, man. And they do freak us out, and they are intimidating, but only because we have hidden stuff. When people know, like you watch a horror movie, if you were the director or the cameraman or whatever in a film, the scariest horror movie, you'd be like, watching through the camera, directing, because it's makeup. It's just a game. Watch the movie, and, people watch Jaws, and they couldn't go in swimming pools, as though there was actually a giant shark that's navigating the pipes of your swimming, and you knew it was coming to your swimming pool. There were people afraid to go in water, swimming pool. Think about it. But it was an archetype in the movie that's being accessed. It's a collective belief system. And then that music. And that's this world. It's just a game. It's just an illusion. But if you realize you're the director and you take responsibility and say, there cannot be any monsters other than the ones that I allow. And they don't have power unless I allow it. So Jesus was trying to explain 2,000 years ago. Imagine this, 2,000 years ago, and a few hundred years before. Lao Tzu, Buddha, Socrates, Pythagoras, Plato, Jesus. What an amazing time. And they all left us with consciousness. Get it. And Jesus, above all, I got it completely. So come on, guys, get it. And people are afraid to go in a swimming pool. Because a shark, which doesn't usually find itself attracted to chlorinated water, is going to make it through your pipes into your swimming pool. There's something wrong with people. And we have fears that we don't want to own. So look at them now during this season. And then you can say, okay, and also the bidding farewell to the dead. What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this ghost, from this death, this divorce, this ending of a job? They're all deaths. Now, Halloween time. To the ghosts, to the deaths, to my fears and whatever, all of it. I get it. And bid farewell. All Saints' Day, bid farewell. Be prepared, because when I bid farewell, I'm cleaner, clearer, and I have new epiphanies. I have new epiphanies because I made room for new epiphanies. I'm not obsessed on only my stuff. What else might happen and fears and whatever? No. I feel clearer. When I make space, all of a sudden, new things start coming in. Particularly based on the stuff I let go of, my divorce, my this, and loss of a job. Thanksgiving is now time to say thank you for what I learned from these experiences. And don't let pseudo-spiritual teachers talk you into, you need to be grateful for everything. Yeah, but I was abused. Well, you know, we don't understand those things, so just give thanks. No, no. Never give a gratitude. Never give thanks for the Holocaust or slavery or people abusing you. Well, but you know, it brought me to where I am today. No, it didn't. Well, who taught you that? There's people out there that you're actually going to tell them, you know, see, without oppression or abuse, you would not be who you are today. Who told you that? God created you as part of God. What makes you think you have to go through hell to get to heaven? There is also just heaven. Just have heaven. I'll get there in a minute. I got to go through hell first. It doesn't make any sense, but that's people for you. So don't give thanks for hurtfulness. Give thanks for what you learned from it. That's all you need to do. This wasn't very cool, but what did I get? Oh, got it. Thank you. What you learned, that's empowering. Don't give thanks for hurtful behaviors. Then you're saying and affirming, we need that. I grew thanks to that. My parents or you know whomever were completely messed up and abusive, but I'm going to give thanks for that. It's another way that the ego is getting us to lock in the value of hurtfulness. And there is no value. None. Because in God, there is no hurtfulness, and all I care about is God. Bid farewell. Thank you, what I learned. Now, I don't mean in a judgmental, like I learned not to trust men. That's not a thing you want to give thanks for, some negative. It's I learned that I really have more value than I thought. I learned that I don't need to be dependent on a drug. What I learned, talk about you responsibly. That's Thanksgiving. And we're just about there, Thanksgiving. Get out the ghouls and goblins, do all that, then give thanks what you learned from what died, who and what has died or is dying. Give thanks for what you learned from that and from them. Give them value that they don't even sometimes know that they have. And then Thanksgiving, right? Cool. Now that I've given thanks for what I've learned, I'm really open and clear. For what? To be birthed into a new life. Christ consciousness. It doesn't even matter if you believe in Christmas. Choose a different day. Do what you need to do, but allow the Christ to be birthed. And when the Christ is birthed, it's not Mary, a woman, a girl, giving birth to a baby. It's the Holy Spirit of God, which is the Divine Mother, not just Mary, the Divine Mother giving birth not to just Jesus, but Christ in you. And you celebrate that. And then you go, that's it. So the whole tree and the gifts under the tree, those are the gifts of God. And when I'm going to get Christmas presents, it's presents. Consciousness. Christmas. Christ's presents. Did you get any Christmas gifts? No, I got Christ presents. Whoa, cool. Yeah, birthing the new me. This is great. And I'm not saying you have to pronounce it. I'm not saying you have to, go to your family for Christmas and walk in and go, whoa. I know you were expecting your relative, but it just so happens I'm the Christ, I don't think they're going to like that. Although in their own way, my family got it about 0.5%, facetiously. My dad would say, is the anointed one coming for Christmas this year? I sent back a message, heal thyself, you know. But it's true, he used to say that. But then I would arrive and he'd say, would you do that weird stuff you do because I have some neck issues, you know, would you? No. You know, it was always tempting to say things like that, you know. So Christmas, and then what do you think the point of that is? To start a new year, guys. Meaning any of us, I don't want next year to look like this year. And I don't want my next relationship to look like yesterday's. And parenting, finances, all categories. And what we do is we approach it, some of us just blindly move into the next year expecting it to be different. Doing nothing different, but expecting it to be different. That's the majority of the human race. There's a small minority that say, wait, I'm going to do a New Year's resolution, and then not keep it. But they'll get at least some inkling of a New Year's resolution prepared for possibly having a new life, and it doesn't work out. Really very few, and it can be all of us in this room and watching online, very few choose to say, I get it. I'm not going to just gratuitously say, I'm going to have a new year. If I get a new calendar, it's going to change my life because it'll be a whole new year. Having a new calendar with a new year on it doesn't change your life. What are you doing? Every January, every December, for many, many years now, you know, I invite, if people want to come by, friends, they want to come over. But what we're doing is making a list of what we're letting go of. This year I got ambitious and did it last month. I was so looking forward to letting go of certain things that were stuck, blocked, dead, you know, that I was still trying to resuscitate, you know. And it's just, there's a point where, you know, you got to go, this job, if I don't let it go, it's going to let go of me. I'm still doing CPR in a relationship, you know. Oh, come on, you can do it. And they're dead. It's just a corpse of a relationship. And you're still trying to do CPR. Rigor mortis is setting, and you're still doing CPR. You got to own it. This is dead. This is gone. There's family members that don't want to talk to you, and you even trying to be loving, they just get more irritated. You better just say, I'm going to let that go. This world is not our home, but we can experience home here. There are people that are free, that are imprisoned in their mind, and they still complain all the time. Oppression and duality and fight, everything's a problem. You got to watch for, you got to speak up for yourself. You got to, you know, and there's a lot of that in the world. Women ought to watch out and fight, and that wasn't Jesus. That wasn't Lao Tzu. That wasn't Mother Teresa. It wasn't anybody that was ever actually enlightened telling you to start fighting things. Resist not evil. But what about the, you know, and taxes? And Jesus said, you're here, and if you have taxes, pay the dang things. And don't let it affect you. Play the game. But what if you have a cold? Sleep. Rest. You should fight that cold. You should show it that you're boss. Then there's an it that you're fighting. Learn to demonstrate to this world as you go into a new year. This coming year, man, I'm not going to be the reactive one. I'm not going to deny that I feel reactions, but I'll look at them and I'll give them to God. Because I want my problems to go up to God. I want my reactions to go to God. I want all my beliefs to go to God. And not just give them up, replace them with something new. God, how would you have me see this? And you don't always get cured from it. You're asking God not to rescue you from your problems. Dear Jesus and all the apostles and saints in heaven, please change the politicians. Please fix the church and so on. They don't hear that. They can't hear any of that because you're asking them to fix something that's our own projections. They're instead saying, why don't you ask about changing your heart, how you see these things? Would you be willing and courageous enough to go there? Would you ask us to change how you see things rather than the things you see? Because that's consciousness. The screen, why would you ask us to change the screen? Stop projecting onto the screen and it'll be clear. So why don't we deal with the guy in the projector room who's choosing horror movies? Let's change your consciousness. So use this holiday season, auspicious time. use it for changing consciousness. Don't just do it again, and you might forget tomorrow what you're hearing today. I would get a calendar out and write it in there. I would make it a program. I'm going to prepare for the launch of a new year. How? Oh, I don't know, I'm just going to sit here and wait for it. No, that's not mastery. What are you going to do? You better let the old die before you expect a new to come in. And the more room you make, the more room that'll be filled. You'll be changed more by letting more go. It's very proportionate. How much are you willing to let go of? And I don't mean you just go out there and just strip everything down like for the heck of it. I'm talking about taking evaluation. What is dead, dying, not working? What is not resonating with joy? What would you like in the next year? Oh, God, I would love, and come up with a mantra, your love and self-worth, peace and happiness, whatever you like. Find the words that most symbolize God to you and be prepared to create it. How? First, by making a list of what doesn't resonate with it. What is not joyous? What's your word going to be? Peace, happiness? Would those work for any of you guys? Peace, joy, happiness? Great. So before you expect those, I just wish I had more peace and happiness. You know, I have a partner and they're not into peace and happiness. I wish they were in. I wish we had a president that was in peace and happiness. Forget it. You. Find out what's in your life that's not resonating with peace and happiness and start thinking about why it's there and what you can do to say goodbye to it. And watch your emotions about saying goodbye to it. Because even if you can flippantly just get rid of it, you still weren't in touch with the process. Get in touch. Make it a conscious ritual, a conscious ceremony. Make your list and start saying goodbye to things. I made a list of a couple dozen things. I did it last month, and 20 of them were gone in hours or days. 20, for me, that was big, man. 20, because I don't have that much extraneous stuff in my life. But I came up with, let's just go nuts. Let's just find anything. People, everything, boom, on my list. And you think, you know, okay, goodbye. Okay, wait, no. I'm going to write each one on a piece of paper, light it, put it in a burning bowl, so that it's more conscious instead of bye, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Just, you know, conscious. Let me put each one on a piece of paper, found a little piece of paper, and wrote one at a time. And you go, okay. And I'm going to do this consciousness with consciousness. So I light one and into the bowl, you know, and so on, right? And it kind of went nicely. But what I used were Post-its. So it was kind of ironic as I'm dropping each thing that I'm ready to release, and it was sticking to my finger. What was worse is they were on fire. I swear to God. I'm like, no, you know. And then what do? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. But you laugh. Isn't that funny, man? I'm ready to let go of stuff, and it's sticking. That's great. You laugh at it. See it for what it is and let go of that. You can even write on another piece of sticky notes, you know. And that you learn from. That even as I go to release things, look how they try to stick. Not today. And burn. I see it. I see the game. Don't turn it into a judgment. Say goodbye. So all of these things, using the holidays to say goodbye. Get conscious for this holiday season. Things that are not resonating, things that are not working. I know some of you have driven hours and hours to get here, to hear this and watch this today, and God bless you for that, because it demonstrates your commitment to awakening. Some of you could live next door and come here. It still could mean there's a real commitment. I wanted to hear this today. And if you heard, there's this talk going on today, it's not an accident you're in this room. Even if you think, this was the lamest talk I've ever heard. You know what? There's also a part of you that said, yeah, but we dragged you here because you're supposed to hear this. You can stay unconscious and say, no, but you're not going to wake up. But part of you wants you to wake up, and that's why it got you here. So look at that part. Look at the whiny, frustrated, annoyed part that doesn't like the talk. Look at it. What's that about? Well, this is expecting me to give up old programs. I'm 15th generation rude. I'm not letting this go. It's worth looking at. Look at it all, guys, and let it die. It's not too late, even though Halloween's gone. Just do it. You could do it next June if you want. But we're in an auspicious time, but also because more of us today, we heard several of us are hearing this, we can do it as a group. not necessarily in the same room, but the more of us that do things like this as a wave, it creates a wave. A wave, instead of a pebble, it's a boulder going in the water, creating waves to the world. So that we're saying to people, and you can put it on your own little online things, and you're going to find new people that don't like you. If you say, you know, I'm just about not reacting to this stuff anymore. How dare you? I thought you were part of our hate groups. We don't like you. Okay, wait, let me get you on my list of things to say goodbye to. You know, adios, bye, and don't sweat it. But that was one of my friends, and they were old friends and long-term friends. Go ahead, get it out, cry, but, you know, go ahead, get it all out. You're afraid, and now you've got rid of somebody that, you know, was an old friend, or they were a family friend, or all this connection. We have past lives together. You should have let go of them then, too. Get it all out, and when you're done, cry if you need to, and scream into a pillow if you need to. But at the end, the truth is still the truth. What do you want? If you want next year your keyword to be annoyed, there are people that fit into that. But if you say you want peace and happiness, don't be a hypocrite. Don't say you want peace and happiness and then not live it. I want to have peace and happiness. Great, what does it look like? And then start living it. People, jobs, things that don't resonate. I don't mean put in notice on Monday, tomorrow, Monday. I'm saying put in notice in here. And if you think it's going to take you a little while, there's one last thing I want to share. If you think it's going to take you a while, you better do this. Give me a minute, because as soon as you start doing things with more consciousness, things start happening. So if you start to go, I recognize I really don't like this relationship has a problem. Go and take it to the person and say, would you like to join me in healing this relationship? Don't give up on it necessarily, but see if there's going to be some work. See if anybody wants to join you. Friends that say no thanks, partners that say no thanks, your kids that say no thanks, your parents that say no thanks, your ego that says no thanks. See you later. I mean, that's fine. Bid farewell. You can be sad about that and angry about that, but there's a new life waiting. So Lazarus, get up. No, I don't want to get up. I'm dead. I'm in the tomb. What do you mean you're dead? Get up, Lazarus, and you got to say that to yourself. Knock it off. Get up. No, I want to stay in pain. Get up. You're allowed to stay dead when you get crucified in this world, but you are asked to resurrect. It is an option. Resurrection, coming out of the dark night of the soul, that's resurrection. Resurrection coming, out of the tomb, that's resurrection. Out of a relationship, out of a divorce, with new hope, that's all resurrection. And if all you do is talk about yesterday and what people did to you, or religious oppression, racial oppression, gender oppression, you're actually still affirming oppression, or whatever the word might be for you. Anger, hurt, sadness, you're still that. You are that thing. That's okay, but that's called crucifixion. I think I'm ready to be part of the resurrection. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, but I get an idea. It feels pretty good. I'm ready to live again. Don't come out and live again the way you already lived, because that was the living dead. You need to come out and say, I'm ready to be filled with the waters of life. I'm not exactly sure what that'll look like, but according to truth, it means the presence of God living in me as me. Prosperity isn't something I have to try to manufacture. It's like today we're doing this workshop on consciousness and prosperity. But it's not about how to make things happen like prosperity. You got to connect with God and co-create a new life. So all this is connected. Crucifixion, Halloween and so on, resurrection. Give thanks and Christmas so that you can have your ascension into a new year. And that's the next year. Next year should look different than this year, which should have looked different from last year. If you feel tired, fatigued, bored, you're living dead, and you have the right to come out of that. But it does have to come from you. If you think you're waiting for family to say sorry for the way they treat you, that may not happen. If you're still waiting for the government to say we're really sorry the way we treated you, that may not happen. I would go here and allow yourself to let yourself off the hook. Make sense? Let's take a few centering breaths. setting aside all the stuff of the world. We have and we own that we have been so faithless. Whenever we've obsessed on duality and hurt and hate, when we obsess on and it is ridiculous stuff on this planet, but when we obsess, when we think about being a person that illness can get this body, then you're making yourself a victim of illness. You're greater than that. There is no racial stuff, gender stuff, political stuff, or anything that has power over us. So I'm owning that that means I lacked faith. When I thought that I could be a person that others could hurt, it meant I was forgetting who I really am. You got to be courageous. Be courageous. All of a sudden, it isn't the gender or the color that made people courageous. Martin Luther King can come out and say, I don't care what you people think, I'm going to still speak the truth. And it didn't matter what color he was. He just talked the truth. And the world doesn't like that. When Mother Teresa went into disease-ridden areas, she didn't just sit there and hope that she didn't get sick. She did it because it was the right thing. And it wasn't her gender that made her unique. So you're a screenwriter, you're a mom, you're whatever things on this planet. But more and more, I am this with the light of God filling me. So today, that's what I'm looking for. How can I become more of the presence of God in day-to-day life? First, by bidding farewell to that which I am not. Not that which I wish that I were not. I truly am not. So can we be courageous enough right now? Look at the world, just objectively, look at the world and see the stuff that goes on. It is ridiculous. But there is economic conflict, racial conflict, gender conflict, political conflict, military. Just look at it all for a moment. And if I were asked everybody to take a moment of silence and pray for it to all be healed, you guys would actually do it. But don't. Instead, turn and look at yourself. In what ways am I holding conflict over race, political affiliation, gender, and so on? In what ways do I have anger? Because war can't exist without feeding off of our collective anger. In what ways am I angry, sad, hurt, jealous? In what ways am I still acting like a victim? Just be honest about it and do an inventory. We ask you, Holy Spirit, Mother, Mother of God, Divine Mother, we ask you to help us see these things. Reveal them to us. Show them to us. Where do I still have conflict? And so on. This is my contribution to all the stuff like that in this world. Past, present, and future. I have contributed to these problems. Instead of thinking I'm perfect, wishing the others would get it right, I get it. I have played a part, and I'm giving this to you, God. I see it, own it, and I'm giving it all to you. And it's lifted to the heavens. But watch, don't cling to it. Watch. Watch for the yeah, but, and fears. Just keep letting it be surrendered and go. Controlling our kids and wishing they were more like this or that. Let it all go and be lifted. New things and ideas will come to your mind. Let it go too. All lifted up and out. And then we remain emptied to a new level. And I affirm that I learn anything I can learn from any of this. I can see my frailties, my conditions on love, and so on. That's what I'm going to give thanks for. I'm going to give thanks from whatever I may have learned from any of this. Known and unknown lessons that I've learned. Oh, okay, these things don't have the power they once had. And I'm grateful for that. Now I'm ready for Christmas. Now I'm ready in this moment. Mother, Divine Mother, only you can do it. Birth in me the Christ. Teach me how the divine feminine in me can be pregnant with the Christ. Let that be there and present, and let it be birthed and start coming forward. Let the Christ that was in Jesus be in me as well. Rising to new levels of awareness, my awareness. Rising and rising. Lifting my way, my consciousness. Lifting me to a new way of living. And I'm moving into a new year with this new consciousness. God, I am that I am. And my heart is so deeply grateful that I too can experience this. But if I try to keep it, lock it away as some special consciousness I have and nobody else has, then I'll lose it. So I close by affirming that I will bring this to the world in every way I can. Guide me, Divine Mother, how to be the Christ a bit more at work, a bit more around family, a bit more in my relations, even if the relations end. Help me to do that in a Christy way. Help me to be the presence of God. I am as God created me. I will to be the Christ on earth. God is, I am, we are, and so it is. And just, if you can, another 10 seconds or so, just breathing and anchoring that as a permanent part of your consciousness. Give that a few seconds, and then we'll move right into the next part of the service.
For all of the requests that are in this prayer box, we see these issues, these concerns transformed, released, let go to the universe for this transformation. And we know that all is well. And as you may hold someone in your mind or heart that you would like to bless or send this loving energy to, bring them to mind and say their names. For our collective energy, through our collective energy, it is so. We let go, we let God, and we know the truth of our being. And so it is.
My wings were heavy, I could not fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. Love was there, I could not see it, till the voice of salvation came shining through you. And you said, God is all there is. God is all there will ever
Thank you, Michael. And thank you to our beautiful music team today. It's been fantastic. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the prayer chaplains that are serving today. If you could stand. These beautiful souls are here to pray with you today and hold whatever your concerns are in prayer, and whether it's a gratitude or a request. And then the prayers are sent on to our prayer team here and then to Unity Village. Your prayers will be held in the strictest of confidence. Also, if you have need, we have home and hospital prayer chaplains that will do visits for recuperation or for time in a rehab or things like that. Anyone here from that team today? If you could stand. No, okay. You can, Nancy, great. You can also speak with Nancy or call the office if that's something you need help with. And you can submit your prayer requests in the box in the back. And we also have a dedicated prayer line that you can call. Now's the time in our service where we affirm our tithes and offerings. If the ushers could come forward. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now for our offering song, Ave Maria.
Okay, so today at the offertory now, I would like to offer a special gift up to Patty Barkus and to October Craig. They are still with us, but they are probably transitioning. If there was a picture, Jack, by chance, of Patty going like this on the PowerPoint, is there a picture? Well, there's our Patty. There's another one where she's in a chamber there. What I'd like to point out about this picture is this is the truth about Patty Barkus. On this day, her fear was over. She had triumphed with alternative methods that allowed her to stop the blood supply to the tumor. That is a miraculous thing. She had had cancer before. There was no opportunity other than Holy Spirit. The most amazing thing is that Patty never lost her faith in the power of Holy Spirit. And any one of us on this walk with her have grown mightily for it. While we were hoping for the living miracle, for her to rise, I do believe too, she is still a living miracle. We offer the Ave Maria today as a Hail Mary for Patty and for October, that while their beautiful love stays here, that we offer them opportunity for either a living miracle that is beyond our understanding, or a beautiful light and love right to that magic, beautiful place. And I'll take either one. I will miss her dearly. She wrote this song with me because on Jackie Woodside's talk, it was a Mother's Day talk, and I had nothing for Mother's Day at 10 at night. And I called Patty and I said, I'm in deep trouble for tomorrow. And I said, but I had this thing happen. Why don't we just do it? It's an Ave Maria. She's like, I'm there for you. And of course she was. The middle part that Mike and I are going to sing that has no words, she wrote it. It's the best part of the song. It just is. She cracked the sky and totally extemporaneously. So we love, love, love. Her legacy of love is massive. And rise up, sweetheart, or fly, fly, fly with the love you left for us. But either way, this is the truth. Here we go. We met at classical school, so skinny chick's gonna sing.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Patris
Thank you, music team. That was beautiful. Thank you. Can we bring up the offerings, please? We bless all the gifts given to us today. Know that they came to us with your love. And with this love, we do wondrous things for Unity on the River and for the Amesbury community. And so it is. Thank you. I'd like to call up Gina Janest.
Wow, what a morning here. The ups and downs of our service today, and so many new faces here today. Thank you for being with us today. I'm here to talk about and switch gears on you. We have our annual service auction coming up, our gala celebration next Saturday night. And actually, I was thinking as Michael was talking that this is what allows us to bring speakers like Michael and others, that quality programming here as well. So we are on for next Saturday night at Michael's in Haverhill. It starts at 6. First, I want to thank those of you who have stepped up to help me out, to volunteer. This large event doesn't happen on its own. Today's also the last day to purchase tickets in the bookstore. I don't have them. I will be out in hospitality answering questions, but you can buy your ticket in the bookstore. We're still looking for some additional sponsors. And I could also still use a few helpers if you're willing. For the startup, for the decorating of the event, we're going to meet here at 2 o'clock on Saturday to load up what we need and then bring it over there at Michael's to set up at 3. As always, many hands make things go much faster, so I also would love some extra help at the end of the night to just pack it all up and send it back. And also tickets for the raffle also are, I need a few more people to help me out with that. So help. I would love to see you after service. We also decided to bring back something different. I guess it was done a few years back, but pre-bidding. So I have set up out in hospitality with some helpers this morning for some pre-bidding on items. Plus, we don't have to lug some really large items with us, so you'll have a sense to start bidding on them today. There's some larger items. Please take a look at them. Again, I'll be right near them, so please ask questions. And also, speaking of raffle, I have some raffle tickets to give away. Who's got the program with a bright pink circle sticker in it? Anyone here? If you have it, come on up and claim your raffle tickets. So, again, tickets are on sale in the bookstore. We'd love to have you join us. If you haven't already bought a ticket, see you next Saturday. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina, and thank you, Joan. It takes so many people to create this service, to produce this event, to keep things going here. We're so grateful for everyone who helps out during the week and on Sunday. Particularly this week, we'd like to thank some angels: Jim, Joanne, Tess, Jeremy, Hannah, Susan, Keith, Stan, Barry, and everyone who helped out with the U Club Cabaret that was here last Friday. And the teams that we're recognizing this week are the prayer chaplains, the meditation garden team, and building and maintenance team. And if you're interested in serving in any way, you can speak with someone at the Spiritual Resource Center. We can always use more hands. We'd like to recognize our board members. If you could stand, the board members that are here. They are available after the service or at any time to answer any questions that you might have about what's happening here. And thank you for all who make Wednesday night happening. Are you doing it this week? Yes, so Amy Joslin is doing the Wednesday night service. It's a much calmer, meditative service that you can come to midweek at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And now it's time for Shining Star.
going to dedicate this one to Michael for his Earth, Wind, and Fire fanage. If we could take a little of the tin off here, honey, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
When you wish upon a star, your dream will take you very far. When you wish upon a dream, well, nothing always what it seems, oh yeah. What you see on the night so clear, in the sky so very near, you're a shining star. No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star. No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. Shining star come into view. Shining watchful light on you. Give you strength to carry on. Make your body big and strong, oh yeah. So if you find yourself in need, run out and listen to these words and heed. Be a giant or a grain of sand. With words of wisdom, yes I can. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. Take it, keep it. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
Yeah, more of it. Yeah, more of it, everybody.
Thank you so much. I definitely have some thank yous to do. I want to thank so much Michael Vaughn for coming today to support me personally with his awesome voice. I want to thank my boys in the band who've been talking to me for a couple of days to make sure I'm okay. That is Alex Valente. That is Steve Pickford. That is Theo Tier. And Andy Gowan. So glad Andy's here today. I got some big thank yous right here for our guest artists. Lori and Fred came. They are really beautifully deep friends of Patty's. They are awesome. They are awesome. I want to give a big thank you to Lisa Plumley, who said, no check, no matter. I am here for you. Yeah, she ripped it up. I want to thank Leslie Smith, big time. Because she's been on the end of the line when I've been all too human this week. She's been really great. So thank you so much for the people who came back to the choir, for the people who came to sing, for those of you who are just standing for the light of love that is this church. It is the beacon of light, not just in New England. It's a beacon in the world. And we are the pilot light, every single one of us. So shine on. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's welcome in our youth and family.
fun, crazy day, with all these goofy, crazy kids. But, started talking about releasing and what that means to us around this time of the year and the holidays and giving to others and asking for help ourselves. So it was a pretty cool conversation. But, yeah, good day.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, now let us join in our peace song.
Let there be peace.
Watches over us. We are the presence of God.